Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a newly buffed Pokemon for Season 15 of Go Battle League, and that is Drill Run DEWGONG. DEWGONG is an Ice and Water type Pokemon with the moveset of Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and now it has access to Drill Run. It did also get Liquidation, but typically Drill Run is going to be preferred for the Steel coverage. Thanks to the addition of Drill Run, DEWGONG is now an absolute top meta threat, and honestly one of the best save switches you can use in the Great League. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Drill Run DEWGONG in action in the Great League. Hopping in the first match, picking up a terrible lead, Defense Deoxys into Sableye. Immediate save switch into DEWGONG, they're going for the foul play, and I'm shielding right away. DEWGONG comfortably wins the 2-shield, so my opponent is going to have to switch out of here, and they do, but it's into a Shadow Drapion. Of course, I have Drill Run, which would hit for super effective damage. I go for the attack drop with the Icy Wind, and my opponent respects the Drill Run, and they end up shielding the Icy Wind. They go for the crunch, but now I've lowered their attack. I'm in a very comfortable spot, and now I can start actually going for the Drill Run. Drill Run will be shielded by my opponent, and DEWGONG just too far ahead in terms of energy. I will commit the shield. Opponent baits with an Aqua Tail, but that will not allow them to outpace. DEWGONG makes the Drill Run. Drill Run is a terrific charge move, taking out the Shadow Drapion and winning switch advantage. And that should basically be the game, as now I'm going to have the Sableye locked onto my Umbreon. My opponent does not want to get debuffed. They're forced to throw energy here. Foul play is going to KO. I can send in the Umbreon, and there's just not really a whole lot my opponent can do here. My opponent in the back, they have Shadow, Alolan Sandslash, and it's just getting absolutely eviscerated by Defense Deoxys. Drill Run is going to connect. Sandslash trying to make it to another charge move, but Deoxys says no. Back in comes the Sableye. I can go for the Thunderbolt here. That's going to get him low. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Shadow, Alolan Ninetales. Opponent save switches into a Trevenant. I'm going to bank a Psycho Boost and send in Umbreon. This is just an absolutely dominating matchup for Umbreon. A bit surprising to see a Trevenant save switch, but I guess the opponent is banking on the fact that with all the Ice types being buffed, that Noctowl will be a lot less common. Seed Bomb is going to connect. Umbreon finally going for the foul play. I have so much residual energy here. Foul play is going to connect. Opponent goes for the last second charge move, and I can very comfortably no shield here. They do go for another Seed Bomb. Umbreon able to tank that, no problem. And when my opponent sends back in the Ninetales, I have a lot of energy I can throw at it. In comes the Ninetales. It is a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. I'm going for the last resort here. That deals some solid chip damage. Opponent looking for the farm down, but Umbreon too tanky, makes it to another last resort, and that's going to get the opponent deep into the red. In comes Deoxys. This is not enough for a Dazzling Gleam, so I'm not going to respect it. I'm just going to let that through. I'm looking for the farm down. Opponent will make the last second Weather Ball. Again, not going to KO, so I can just let this through. In the back, oh no, the opponent has a Toxicroak, and they're about to feel pain, as Toxicroak will have to shield 2 Psycho Boosts, and then again, having Drill Run on DEWGONG is incredibly helpful coverage. Due to the fact that Toxicroak does have the Poison subtyping, it's going to be taking super effective damage from that Drill Run. Mud Bomb will be shielded. DEWGONG now gets to go for the Drill Run onto the Toxicroak. Down goes the Toxicroak, and that's game over. Picking up a tough lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Shadow Skuntank. Not a great matchup. I'm going to be throwing one counter and save switching into the DEWGONG. My opponent is going to stay in here, look for some chip damage with the crunch, but I am not about to let them get chip damage on the DEWGONG. I'm committing the shield. Opponent is now going to send in a Snarl Granbull, and I'm going for the Icy Wind right away. Icy Wind is going to connect. That does a lot of damage, as it is the Shadow Granbull. Granbull farming up energy. They do not have the back-to-back here, so I should be able to shield the close combat, Ice Shard down, and even though I'm down 2 shields, I now have switch advantage. And if my opponent sends back in the Shadow Skuntank, they are not going to have a good day going up against the DEWGONG. I have enough for the Drill Run. I'm expecting a shield, so I'm going to go for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind does get the shield. That is massive. And I decided to go for the Drill Run as soon as I get it. It was on alignment, but I'm just looking to put some pressure on them. I'm able to get the final shield. I'm now going to send in Umbreon, and in the back, they have Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash did not want to see the DEWGONG thanks to the Drill Run, so the opponent was forced to to send in the Grand Bowl, and now I'm in a very comfortable position. As Sandslash, unfortunately for them, these Shadow Claws just do absolutely nothing to Umbreon. Umbreon is going to be going for the foul play here. Foul play is going to get that Shadow Alolan Sandslash incredibly low. Sandslash firing off another charge move here. They go for the Ice Punch, looking for the farm down, and gets the farm down. In comes the Skuntank. Skuntank firing off a charge move here. If I live this, I have the last resort, and I do. Umbreon, just an absolute monster, able to hang on. Last resort, takes down the Skuntank, and gets the win. Hopping to the next match, picking up a great lead, Defense Deoxys into Medicham. Considering I'm double weak to counter, I am definitely happy to catch the Medicham on the lead. And oftentimes, Medicham leads are weak to counter themselves in the back, so Deoxys should have a lot of play here. My opponent goes for the Ice Punch, I respond with the Thunderbolt, but I do wait a turn to make sure my opponent doesn't try and catch on something like a Galarian Stunfisk. Farming up energy with the Deoxys. Medicham, of course, will be able to outpace. They go for the Thunderbolt catch onto the Stunfisk. I'm able to hang on to my energy and send in Umbreon. This entire team is incredibly bulky, so it allows for some interesting playstyles. Like here, I decided, you know what? I'm going to double shield my Umbreon, because even though my opponent has energy on the Medicham, they're forced to go for Ice Punch. Counter honestly doesn't do a lot to the Umbreon, so I decide I'm gonna, even if it's worth going down 2 shields, I'm gonna keep this Umbreon healthy. So I'm going to double shield the Umbreon here, and an Umbreon at this health range is incredibly irritating to get rid of. I'm going to fire off the Foul Play. Foul Play is going to connect. I'm looking for the Snipe with the counter, but it's a simultaneous switch. Defense Deoxys into Medicham. My opponent reading me like a book. I'm now going to fire off the Thunderbolt here. This will come very close to KOing. Thunderbolt is going to get them low. Medicham with a sliver of HP, able to hang on and make it to the last second Ice Punch. I will be able to tank it, get the farm down. We know they have the low health Stunfisk that does have a decent amount of energy. What is in the back? It's a Diggersby, and it's all over from here. My opponent may be able to take out the Umbreon, but there's just no hope of them also taking out the DEWGONG. This team is just way too tanky. I go for the back-to-back Psycho Boost there. I can now send in Umbreon. My opponent is going to need multiple Earthquakes to get rid of the Umbreon. We double shielded Umbreon early in the game, and now it's proving to be a massive nuisance for my opponent. They go for the Earthquake, and they go for a combo play with the Stunfisk. Stunfisk had an Earthquake as well. I'm going to bank a Foul Play, send in the DEWGONG, and DEWGONG is going to shut it all down as Diggersby just in a terrible, terrible situation here. Diggersby goes for the Earthquake. That just does not do a lot of damage onto the DEWGONG. And at this point, my opponent no longer has a win condition. They no-shield the Icy Wind, and that's game over. We have same leads again in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Medicham. As before, my opponent is going to stay in here, which is a pretty good indication that they're probably weak to Deoxys in the back as well. My opponent is going to fire off the Ice Punch. I'm not going to go for the Thunderbolt. I just go for the extra. Again, wait a turn to make sure they're not catching on something like a G-Fisk, and then Thunderbolt is going to be shielded by my opponent. So that is a telltale sign they are weak to the Defense Deoxys in the back. They're going to fire off the Ice Punch. Again, I'm going to no shield, and I'm going to make it to the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt will not KO, but it will get them into a range where a Psycho Boost will KO. That is going to connect. My opponent going for another Ice Punch, but this is again not going to KO. Defense Deoxys is very bulky. I'm able to withstand that damage, go for the Psycho Boost, and my opponent has to give up a second shield if they want Switch. They're going to let it go. We'll see what do they want to bring in here. Opponent sends in Lickitung, and I'm just going to let the Deoxys get farmed down because I have switch advantage, and I can align Lickitung onto Umbreon. Lickitung is at its most effective when its licks are hitting for neutral or super effective, so the licks being resisted here, it just struggles so much against Umbreon. They can go for Body Slam after Body Slam in this matchup, and it's going to take so many charge moves to get through the tanky Umbreon. They're firing off another Body Slam here. Umbreon very comfortably able to survive that. Farming up, firing off another Foul Play here, just looking to chip away at the Lickitung's HP. Foul Play is going to connect, continuing to farm. They're going for another Body Slam. I can very comfortably let this through, and now I should be able to farm up to 2 more Foul Plays, and that is going to KO. So I'm firing off Foul Play number 1 here. My opponent is going to no shield, going for Foul Play number 2. This will be lethal. Decision time for my opponent. They commit the second shield. Aggressive switch into the DEWGONG. It's a Sandslash in the back. It's drill run time. and the opponent concedes the match. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Shadow Venusaur. I do outpace the Venusaur here, but I'm actually going to overfarm by 1 and play to the CMP tie that I lose. The reason being, I want them to throw their energy because I can tank it, I can force a shield advantage with the Psycho Boost, and then I can safely safe switch into the DEWGONG. Psycho Boost does get shielded, in comes the DEWGONG, look at the Ice Shards chunk tearing through the Venusaur. Venusaur will fire off a Frenzy Plant. I can farm them down unless they switch, so my opponent is going to have to switch, and they send in Quagsire. Quagsire did get updated as well. It now runs Mud Bomb instead of Earthquake to pair with Stone Edge. Stone Edge will hit for super effective damage, but DEWGONG trying its best to nullify that damage with back-to-back Icy Wind debuffs. Now my opponent can go for the Stone Edge, but it's just not going to KO. DEWGONG will comfortably be able to tank this. Well, comfortably is a relative word. They can't farm down. They're going to be forced to go for another charge move here. My opponent is going to fire off the Mud Bomb. Unfortunately, I cannot make the next move, and I'm just going to send in Umbreon and look for the farm down. My opponent sends in Venusaur. Venusaur, oh no! I accidentally overfarmed too much. Play to the CMP die, and that may have just lost me the game. Oh, that is such an unfortunate mistake. I should have just thrown 1 sooner. I'm able to get the perfect undercharge by hitting no bubbles and fully snarl down, but losing that shield might cost me as I don't know what's in the back, and it's their own DEWGONG. And honestly, I think that not having the shield is going to cost me the game. That is such an unfortunate mistake here, as I've been undefeated with this team up until now. I'm able to connect with back-to-back foul plays, going for foul play number 3, little bit of stutter lag, but my opponent is going to strike first with the DEWGONG. They go for the Drill Run. Drill Run does do more damage than Icy Wind in neutral situations, but of course, Icy Wind gets that debuff. I'm looking to farm up with the Umbreon here, looking to switch into the Deoxys, and I'm able to get the catch. My opponent is going to fire off the Drill Run there. Drill Run plus the Ice Shard will KO. Back in comes the Umbreon. Umbreon has a lot of energy here. I will be able to get rid of the DEWGONG. The question is, can the Quagsire make a move? And will it KO? Quagsire has energy. If it's the Mud Bomb, I live. The Stone Edge, I die. It's the Stone Edge. And we lose a heartbreaking game. We've got some spice in the final match, Defense Deoxys into Gallade. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start, because Deoxys can comfortably tank any one move from the Gallade. Gallade going straight for the Leaf Blade here. I'm going to no shield, and then throw 1 more counter and go for the Psycho Boost. This hits for neutral, but Gallade is very glassy, so this is going to hurt. Psycho Boost connects, we save switch into DEWGONG, and my opponent sends in Dunsparce. Dunsparce, quite bulky as well, and they did get a buff, as Rollout now does extra damage. But the good thing is, I'm able to get the Icy Wind first, so now I should be able to tank 2 Rock Slides, and my opponent will not be able to farm down. I'm going for Icy Wind number 2, but I lose CMP to the Dunsparce. Dunsparce going for the Rock Slide, and as you can see, that is not a range where they can farm down. They're going to be double debuffed after this Icy Wind. Dunsparce is going to have to throw. Dunsparce farming up. They will fire off a Rock Slide. I'm just going to let this go. DEWGONG has done its job, as honestly now I can just use the Dunsparce to get some nice farm onto my Deoxys. My opponent is going to send in Gallade. I'm going for the kill shot here with the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost will be shielded. Sending in Umbreon. Honestly, at this point, I had lost count, so I will commit the shield on the Umbreon. It is the close combat, and in the back, they have Cradilly. Cradilly, of course, now has access to Rock Slide. It's a change that I really, really like, but as you're going to see, in this matchup, the bulk of Umbreon just absolutely shines. We're firing off a foul play into Cradilly. Cradilly has some pretty okay bulk as well, but Umbreon with the Snarl foul play spam is just incredible in these neutral type matchups. My opponent firing off another charge move here. Again, I'm not going to be shielding. They go for the Grass Knot number 2. I'm going for the foul play. Foul play will just about KO here. My opponent is going to commit the shield. I'm farming up with the Umbreon, sending the Deoxys, and I can tank whatever they throw. I got some valuable chip damage onto the Cradilly. Rock Slide is going to connect. In comes Gallade. I can't quite farm down, so I'm forced to go for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is going to KO. Opponent can send back in Cradilly. Cradilly cannot farm down. Defense Deoxys standing strong, taking out Cradilly, and that is a good game. All in all, I think that Drill Run is an incredible upgrade for DEWGONG. DEWGONG is very bulky, Ice Shard and Icy Wind is a terrific combination, but it was really missing a good coverage move, and thanks to Drill Run, it finally has it. Drill Run gets the cover against those pesky steel types and pesky electrics. So honestly, this is a terrific upgrade. DEWGONG honestly is probably the new premier save switch in the Open Great League, and a Pokemon you can absolutely use to climb rank in Season 15. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.